Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'm going to give you guys an update on my avocado plant here, and I'm also going to put up my Fuerte avocado, which after many months has finally started to grow a small root. So it's now ready to go into soil. So this is my Hass variety of avocado tree. As you can see, it's done really well. It's probably only about, I think, 4 months old now, but it's already quite a size, and in fact next spring I'll definitely have to repot it. As you can see, the pot's actually looking quite small. I mean, I knew that it would grow pretty quick, but it has grown a little bit faster than I expected. What it seems to do is put on little growth spurts. So you can see here, the first growth spurt, it just grew this little collection of leaves at the bottom. Then the second growth spurt, it's grown this collection of leaves. And it's just starting another little growth spurt, but I don't reckon it's going to go into a full growth spurt. And the reason for that is it's really getting quite cold now in my flat. It's probably only about 16 degrees on the windowsill where this is, especially as this is on a windowsill. It's a lot colder than the rest of the flat, and also it's now winter, so it's very dark outside. And being this far north in Scotland, it doesn't really get any direct sunlight anymore, and the sunlight that does come through from the clouds and stuff, it's very low light levels, so it's really not going to grow much more. But come spring, once the sun comes back and it warms up a bit in the flat, what I'm going to do is repot this into a larger pot, because as you can see, it definitely will need one by then, and hopefully this will continue growing. I'm not sure how big I'm going to let it grow, because obviously avocado trees are a type of tree, so they do get large eventually. So I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with it, if I'm going to have space for it on the windowsill, or if I'm going to have to do something else with it. So for now I'm going to plant up my Fuerte avocado stone. So I've had this sitting in water for almost as long as this plant has been around for. It's been many months. This one germinated pretty quickly, but this one just hasn't done anything. But finally it has. The biggest stone in here, which is this one, hasn't really done anything, and to be honest, it's getting a little bit soft and squidgy, and kind of shriveling up and drying. So I think that one's a goner, so I'm just going to have to chuck that one, I think. But this one's done well. It's actually swelling up slightly more, so obviously gathers some more water. And interestingly, it's split into 3. Normally they just split into 2. I'm not sure what that is, but you can see there, once you get this in focus, you can see there's a small root there. It seems to have grown a root down, which then hit the glass and snapped off, but that's now grown a side root. So I can happily plant this now, and I know that it will actually germinate and grow into a new tree. So I'm just going to pot it up into a plant pot that is about the same size as I planted this one. And as before, I'm using a very free draining compost mix. What I've basically done is just got a lot of perlite and added that into the mix, because avocado trees like a very loose material to grow in. They don't like the roots inhibited too much by a compacted growing substrate, sorry. And they like it to be quite free draining, so there's plenty of airflow for the roots to survive. So that's why this one, I think, it's done so well and it's so healthy. So hopefully the same will work with this one. It is a different variety, so it might grow a little bit differently. But I'm just going to place it on the top there, and then cover it with soil, so the soil is just over the top of the stone. I could plant it deeper, but then the problem is if I plant it deeper, the roots don't really fill the whole pot. And if I plant it too high, then it'll be a little bit too unstable for the plant. So I'll just move it off there, see where the top of it is, and it's just there. So it just needs a tiny bit more soil. And that should do it. Let's give it a little tap, make sure there's no large voids in the soil. So that's all it takes. I'll just keep this watered now, and that, I'm pretty sure, will sprout above the surface within probably a month or so. It won't grow, it'll grow a decent rate the first flush of leaves, because there's a lot of energy in the stones here, so it will actually grow quite well even though there's not much light. Once it's done the first flush of leaves, it will probably stop growing, and then it'll wait until spring when the daylight comes back. And the first set of leaves, it could be quite leggy when it grows, so it'll probably grow taller than this one before it flushes out. You see this one grow to about this height, and then it grew leaves, and this one will probably grow about twice the height and then grow leaves. So this one, I'm quite expecting this to maybe even be taller than this one by spring, but this will far be the biggest, healthiest plant. It won't be the highest, but it will definitely have the biggest leaf, thickest stem. This one will probably be a bit spindly, because at this time of year in Scotland it's really not a good time of year to be growing it, but this just happens to be the time that it's growing the roots, so I need to plant it anyway. And it'll be interesting to see that if there's much difference between the two varieties. As I say, this one's a Fuerte variety. It's a The skin on the avocado is green and quite smooth. The skin on the Hass variety is kind of warty, knobbly, and kind of a purple-black colour. So they're very different looking fruits. Growth-wise, the Fuerte variety can take cold temperatures quite well. You know, it can take right down to freezing, no problem at all. I think you can even take a very light frost as well. Hass variety, it can take cool temperatures, but if it's cold for a long period of time, it's going to stress out the plant, and it can't really take any frost whatsoever. Maybe the very slightest of frost, but it'll still get damaged. Whereas this one can maybe take maybe -2, -3 without any major problems. So that's it for now. I'll give you guys an update. It's probably going to be a few months because, as I say, in winter nothing really happens here in Scotland because it's too cold and too dark. Hopefully we'll see this will be growing quite nicely, and this will be just getting ready to put on another flush of growth.